subscribers. I thought it might be interesting just to have a look at what's available for sale if you're interested in dipping your toes into this weird and wonderful world. So I've been behaving. I haven't looked at this for a while, so I've been behaving myself because I want to try and get I want to get a Spectrum Next in the Kickstarter 3. So I've been saving my pennies and not buying junk on eBay. So anyway, so dragonberseker, he's a guy that I've been buying from for years. Still hasn't offered me a discount, but he's in Slovakia. So he's pretty good if you look at all this stuff he's got. So I thought he would be a good place to start. So I'm on the Australian eBay store here. So I think it's actually, if you go, so we've got 783. Actually, if we have a look, because sometimes not all of his stuff shows up on the Australian store. You can see what else I've been looking at. Saved sellers. And then, so this is the US 731. Oh, okay, that's the difference. Because sometimes I've been looking at something and he's only been listed on the US store. Anyway, so the Australian store is actually better. Okay. So what have we got? Best match. So I normally go nearly listed, but this is a good place to start. We've had this. I've had these ones. Yeah, this is the same board that I've got here. Let's open this up. So this is a Spectrum clone, obviously. We've got the BMK, so it's a T34 listed here, so it's an earlier one. So the BMK is like the ULA. We can see, I'm not sure exactly where the Z80 is from, but we've definitely got a Soviet Spectrum ROM there. This is basically the smallest I've ever seen a Spectrum. It's tiny. I think it's about 15 centimeters square, something like that. You've got your DRAM up there. You've got your capacitors. That's the main thing as well. You want to look to make sure you've got capacitors on there. But yeah, you can see the size of it. The power supply's gone. There would have been a big transformer sitting there, some diodes, and you've got your little regulator, 5-volt regulator there. So that's obviously been taken out. And the way they built this, you can see this little bit of metal there. That's how they held the board in place. They soldered this little bit of basically like a resistor lead or something. They've soldered it in and then they've melted it into the plastic of the case. That's how the board's held in. No screws, just that, which is interesting. Keyboard's pretty shit, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Reset joystick, so it's all in English there. So I've just trying to remember what the actual name of the board. Cosmo, maybe. Cosmo, maybe something like that. What else has he got? Parus. So this is a Parus. Parus means sail, I think. I think this might be Ukrainian. Sideways photo is always good. We have a smattering of decoupling capacitors, so that'll be the RAM there. Yeah, KR565 RU5Gs. So you got your 64K of RAM. Oh, this one's interesting. So you got a Western ROM, but I've never seen a Z80 like that before. So KM 1582 VM2. So yeah, so this is Soviet Z80 clone, but I've never seen it marked like that before. So it was originally called the T34, and then it was given the KM 1582 VM2 official moniker. So that's a Soviet Z80. You can see here 91, 90, 91. So it's Soviet era. Oh no, 92 here. So it's post-Soviet, this one. You can see this is post-Soviet, 89. That could even be a 93. Yeah, 93, yeah. So this is definitely post-Soviet build. Okay, what else have we got here? So spectrum, 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 spectrum. As you can see, the case is the same. So this is almost like it's another, well, it's a Purus case. So you want to see photos of the motherboard, because especially for the non-spectrums, you want to see if there's any decoupling capacitors. Here again, we've got a few for the RAM. We've got a Western Z80 1990. That could be a Soviet Spectrum ROM, but yeah, we've got all the other Soviet parts. Oh, this is I'm not sure what that one is, but that's always an interesting. That's something different. That's an interesting part there. Actually, I think the other Purus we were just looking at. No, that's the Cosmo. Was it this one here? Let's have a look at the board. No, it's oh yeah, you can see there's a space there. So that chip's not there. We've got some other bodgy shit going on there. So yeah, so Spectrum's. Oh, you actually you can see you got your built-in power supply as well. What a beast! So we've got our transformer here, mains transformer, so 220 volts in. We've got a smoothing capacitor there, nicely insulated because they didn't put insulation on their electrolytics. You've got a pair of diodes, and underneath there you've got the you'll have your regulator, 7805 clone. Here you've got your KD212A diodes, 1985. So what I do in this case is I keep all this because I find it fascinating anyway, but I rip it all out and just stick, say, a USB or a 2.1mm, because it runs on 5 volts. So you could run this off a USB charger if you wanted to. So you can replace all this with just a 2.1mm DC socket. And then, you know, rather than have this main shit in here with this metal fucking takes the heat away, heatsink thing for the regulator. Of course, you can keep it in there. You could probably tidy it up a bit, obviously make it a bit safer. But yeah, so far what? Spectrum. This will be a Spectrum, yep. Sometimes it's interesting to look at the keyboards. Oh, they've got a proper cursor cluster. Do we have any motherboard photos? Right. Oh, okay. Look at those capacitors. I haven't seen those ones before. The new one on me. And again, this is the DRAM. You can see here KR565s. So you've got pretty much all Spectrum. Well, yeah, all the Soviet Spectrums come with 64K because they use just 64 kilobit. Oh, Gold Star. Is that Korean? So Korean Z80. ZX82. Okay. This is a Leningrad or something, is it? That's interesting. Yeah, so this is definitely post-Soviet. But you've got some old chips in here, 82 and 92. So you've got 10 years difference in some of these chips, whereas you wouldn't really see that in a Western computer. It's, you know, they take the chips, all the chips are pretty much the same year because they get them as they're built. Oh, and yeah, okay. So again, yeah, we've got, look at that fuck off big capacitor. Wow. And then, yeah, so you've got this internal power supply again. Interesting little... Actually, can we have a look? Do we have a... Just looking for underneath of the keyboard. No, but... Oh, okay. Just wondering what type of keyboard it is. I assume the plungers go through the holes there. Interesting. Yeah, this is another Spectrum. That almost looks like an Olympic S. Metal case. DIN, of course, DIN sockets. Okay, we have this, yeah, we have this 93. Okay, so this is post-Soviet. I'm not sure where that's a clone, obviously, of a Z80. I'm not sure where that one is. Ooh, I think, what are these, KM type capacitors? These are the ones that have got silver and palladium and platinum and stuff in. So if you see these on a board, that means it hasn't been touched by a scrapper. So you might have a chance of it working. So there's another one there. And oh yeah, a couple more in there. So these are I love these capacitors. They're awesome. But unfortunately, oh, we've got a speaker. Okay, so we've got our 4 diodes for our rectifier. We've got our smoothing capacitors. Got a big transformer. Looks like we've got a volume control as well. It's an interesting one. Wow, okay. It looks like almost a homemade, yeah, it looks like it's a homemade, maybe, yeah, it's a homemade case and keyboard. Wow, someone's put a lot of, okay, I'm not shitting on it, but, someone's put a lot of work into building this, so they've got a computer. So fair cop to them. And yeah, it looks pretty decent actually. Like I said, it's got the good capacitors in there. Like I would probably get rid of the power supply, but I don't chuck. I would keep all this, but I would just probably tidy it up and modernise it, so it's a bit safer. Oh, there's your regulator there. So I don't know how much heat dissipation you're going to get off the PCB, but yeah, okay. Oh yeah, I saw this one. This was an interesting one. Was it Butovoy personal or something, however you pronounce that. Nya computer Pioneer 2. Sorry, I only know Adnoy. I've only learnt one so far. And then processor Z80. So home computer, home personal computer, and obviously you can tell it's a ZX Spectrum from the keys. Oh baby, look at all of them. Oh yeah. Oh mate. So a bit dusty. Could do with a bit of a clean. But again, yeah, we've got this internal, excuse me, 220-volt power supply, regulator, rectifier, smoothing capacitors. Pretty beefy little way they've done this, kind of some sort of shielding and heatsink as well. That's pretty good. Wow, look at this keyboard. Have we got a closer? I've got a closer look at the keyboard. Good bit of ventilation there. Where were we? There. Look at that. So it looks like you've got a plunger that comes down and it just basically pushes the two bits of metal together. Hey, does the job, doesn't it? Separate number pad over there. Wow, this is a beauty. So give this a bit of a clean. And you've got, look at them all. Look at all these. Like if a scrapper saw this, yeah, they would have been snip, 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 everything gone. So, yeah. I think even these electrolytics, they've got a bit of weight to them. They're not like light little Western ones. They actually feel quite heavy. So I always keep them. I never throw them away. Right, so that's a good one. Pioneer, I was going to say Cux, which is Finnish for 2, but yeah, okay. So Master, so that's a Russian Spectrum clone. I don't have any inside photos of it. Slavitic. So this is Ukrainian. This is I've had this on the channel. This is a solid bit of kit. I think apparently it was kind of like a you can see it's got a membrane keyboard. Not really designed for playing games on it. Apparently it was designed to use cartridges or something, and unfortunately I've not been able to find any information about this, but it was kind of like apparently a games machine. Or am I thinking of the Purus? One of them was kind of designed as a games machine at a holiday resort. Joystick port there. We've got our Vickle, so our power supply, Spros reset, TV, magnetophone for cassette, and PIT, Britannia? Oh, power. That's the power input. So make sure you're paying attention where you put your power input. But it'll be 5 volts in anyway. So yeah, Slavotich. So that's so I've had that on the channel. It's a good bit of kit. This would be another Parus. Yeah. This is a Moldovan byte. So there's two types of bytes from Moldova. There's this one, which I call the Spectrum byte. These are pretty reliable in my opinion, in my experience. Unfortunately, you don't see a photo of the circuit board, but it's uses discrete. Everything's discrete. There's no BMK, there's no ULA or anything, so it's all discrete electronics. Whereas the red, I don't know if he's got. I think he might actually have a red byte. The other ones, it's basically comes from Moldova as well. But it has a BMK. It's basically, BMK RAM and ROM, and I've not had any of them work. But that's because I was working on them a few years ago. I've got a bit more experience now, and I think maybe it could be just decoupling. There's just not enough decoupling capacitors. What is on Micron? Another Spectrum clone. Don't worry, we're not going to just look at Spectrum clones. But that seems to be. Yeah, we got our KM type capacitors. Very, very good. These are inductors, I think. These grey things. Oh, we've got a ceramic Z80 clone, the T34 VM1. That's nice. That's a ceramic Z80. We've got these nice electrolytics here. Like I said, you take these out, they feel quite heavy. They're quite solid electrolytics. And then we've got our KM2 type capacitors. Like I said, I think these are inductors here. We've got a Western EEPROM. So yeah, not a bad little board. KF6 RU6. I think these are 16 kilobit. 16 kilobit. So is it a 32K machine? I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, that's good. It's got a ceramic Z80 clone. So if that's what you're into, check out this one. Ooh, good price. Maybe I'll get it. Yeah, okay. I don't know when he put this one up. Micron 001, Horizon. Okay, Horizon. Never seen that one before. All right, let's continue. Santaka, so that's kind of Lithuanian, Belarusian. This is built like a fucking tank. This one. I've had this one on the channel. You can see we've got, this is the video output board on the side there. And then, see the thing with the Santaka, okay, so we've got the ROMs. I think these are ROMs here. But we've also got kind of these other little proms as well. So if one of them goes bad, then the whole machine won't work. That's the problem with the Santaka. And where's all the decoupling capacitors? Where's all the decoupling capacitors gone, my friend? So yeah, so if you get this one, first thing you're going to have to do is reinstall all the capacitors because it looks like they've all been taken. You can see them marked here, C32, and you can see where they've got the legs sticking out. So it probably had KM type capacitors, and some unmentionable word has come through and just snipped them all out there. You can see the leg there and there again. So yeah, this might work, but you need to put some work in. That's disappointing. That's disappointing, that. Lviv PK01. So this is an 8080 based machine. It says Lvov. The story I read was that they didn't want it called after a Ukrainian town, so it's called Lvov or something. Well, that's the Russian. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Pretty shitty case. It's pretty bad. Keycaps are not too good. It's a pretty. That's like a kickstand there. That's the power cable. It's hardwired in. It's a bit of a hard machine to work on. This is 93, so this is post-Soviet. This is the data date. Doesn't have any photos of the circuit board. So, a lot like with that Santaka, you wanna see photos of the circuit board to make sure that it hasn't been stripped. You know, if it has been stripped, then at least you know, okay, you know what to expect. But yeah, I've got 4 of these. I'm still working. The problem with these ones is that the keyboard is, this is the motherboard side, and the keyboard is on top of it. So it's 2 big PCBs connected via like 3 dozen wires. So it's hard to work on it on the motherboard because you've got the keyboard underneath it. That's my only complaint. Well, complaint about that machine. That's an Ikara 64, so that's another Ukrainian clone. Robic, that's another Ukrainian clone. It's a nice keyboard. I think it's like a Hall effect keyboard. Built in, the power supply there is hardwired in, so I actually removed mine and just put a 2.1mm socket. You can see here we've got RGB out tape, joystick Kempston. You can see the hardwired power supply. People moaned at me when I did that. It's like, well, this makes it more, because I can't use this thing here. It doesn't fit any Australian. Can't use that here. I kept it. I didn't throw it away. I kept it, but anyway, you know, the worst thing what you can do is you can just put a 2.1mm plug on that, then you can plug it into the keyboard, and you don't have this thing dragged around. I guess with this one here, you've got the original box as well. Interesting thing about the Robic is that it does actually have an expansion interface on the side here, but there's no way to get to it. I don't know if you got a photo of the side of the case. No, because it's all plastic. So the expansion ports, you can't access it. Okay, continuing on. So Pravets from Bulgaria. So this is an Auric clone with a Commodore key shoved in the middle there. It's a neat board, although it does. It's not using. Okay, so yeah. So it looks like 6522, 6502. So it's got a Western 6502, so that might have been replaced. It's got some Soviet parts, it's got some Western parts, I guess, and it'll have some Bulgarian parts. This, I would probably avoid that one maybe. Okay, so that's the board. That's the Ikara board. We've got capacitors. We've got a genuine Zilog. Yeah. Anyway, I've had the Ikara on the channel as well. Olympic S. That's Ukrainian. Another Slovatic. Another Olympic S. Synthes 2. Master. Pravets. Partner. So this is a Radio 86RK, Radio 86RK clone from, I think it's Russian. Partner 01. Except, there's the power supply. Does it actually have the board? As you can see, JCUKEN layout, which was the standard before Oh yeah, I guess it's got the board in there. I actually have managed to get one of these working. There's the power supply. So because it's an 8080, it's a tri-voltage. So you've got plus minus 5 volts and plus 12 volts. You can see there it's got the connector. So Soviet type connector. Ooh, well, maybe a bit pricey. What else? Continue on. Spectrum clones, Spectrum clones, Spectrum clones. Ah, BK. I haven't had any of these ones yet. These are also 8080 based, I believe. BK0010 and BK11s. Let's have a look. Ooh, capacitors are all in place. Hasn't been stripped. Oh, we got. Oh, okay. We even have some array capacitors here. I haven't seen those before. I'm gonna have to get one of these. And then we have these high integration kind of chips as well. That's pretty cool. We've got all this RAM, KR565RU6. Again, I think it's 16 kilobit. I think it's 16 kilobit. So 8 of them is 16K. That's just off the top of my head. Not sure what all they do. Like I say, I've never had one of these machines, so I'm not too familiar with it. But it has all its decoupling capacitors, all its KM types. So it hasn't been stripped, and it's even got these ones here, which is interesting. That's pretty neat. How much does he want for that one? Okay, can't afford that at the moment. Tesla from Czech, well maybe Slovak, isn't it? PMD 85-3. So I've got a couple of these. Here you can see you've got the basic ROM cartridge there that plugs into it. You can get like a multi-ROM these days. So yeah, it's not a bad, interesting machine. So it's all Tesla. Tesla, Tesla, Tesla. Yeah, so I've got this. I've had this machine. I think there's a PMD 85-1, 2, 3, and 4. I think. Poisk. I haven't had any of the Poisks. So these, I think, are these Ukrainian. These are XT, yeah, PCXT clients. So you've got your 8086. I don't have any circuit board photos. That's a shame. What's that? Magnetophone or cassette? Syncra? What's that? Syncra? I'm reading it upside down and it's Cyrillic, so Syncra. I'm not sure what that is. RGB and video. Synchronization. Kievskoya. What's that say? Kievskoya. Pol. Elektronmash. Zavodskoy, number 3. Fascinating. But here you can see, now because it's a PCXT, we're starting to use QWERTY. And so I guess this is why QWERTY has taken over. Yeah, so yeah, I've been wanting to get one of these. I just haven't got round to it yet. So there's a 1.01, 02, 03, 04, different levels. So you can do a bit of research if you wanted one of those. But yeah, so 374 Aussie. What's he asking for originally? So 250, 242, although that's with 10% GST. So divide that by whatever. Take 10% off. Yeah, so there we go. Oral BK, so that's a Spectrum clone, isn't it? So that's also from Ukraine. I've got 2 of these. Again, it's a nice, similar to the Robic, I guess. the magnetic, the Hall effect. Yeah. Anything else? So Poisk 1.02, didactic gamma. So these are Czechoslovak as well. Spectrum clones. I think he also had some MSX clones as well. What about newly listed? He sells a lot of. He always seems to have a lot of Atari portfolios as well. So if you're into those, BK011. So yeah, I want to get one of these, but I just haven't got around to it yet. Yeah. All right. There was one other machine. It wasn't Dragon Berserker. It was another machine I stumbled upon that was quite interesting. Let me find it. Okay, here we go. Sogdiana Adnoy. I guess Sogdiana. So this is another Radio 86 RK based machine. So it's an 8080. Yeah, so I think it's like a VM16 type key switches there. So spacebar is 4 buttons. So pretty standard. Again, you got your KM type capacitors in place, which is good. All your connectors are Soviet, so they'll be 2.5mm pitch, not 2.54. So yeah, but here you've got your 8275, so you got your CRT controller. You've got your 8080 here, that's your CPU. 8257, so that's your DMA controller. Then you'll have, looks like you've got a pair of 8255s, which is like one for keyboard, one for expansion. And yeah, okay, so that'll be your character ROM. Yeah, so that's your character ROM there. And that's a shift register, so that's how your output's generated. And I wonder, it might be a 16K machine. Might be, because the Radio 86 RK came as a 16 and a 32K machine. So this, I think KR565RU6 is a 16 kilobit chip. So you got 8 of them, so it might be only 16 kilobytes. But nice compact little version of it. There's your power supply. Nice beefy transformer. You've got your diodes there to rectify, and then you've got smoothing capacitors. Of course, it's also tri-voltage as well. Okay, start stereo. Okay, you got some stereo headphones for some reason. So your power supply will output. That's why you need a DIN connector. Unfortunately, they haven't shown us any. So what we'll have is probably maybe power there, and then you'll have video output and magnetophone for cassette, for tape. And that's all you need. Yeah, and then you've got your keyboard connected up there. Yeah, there we go, you got your keyboard connected. Yeah, so that's just a quick look at some Soviet era machines. Mostly you come across Spectrums. It's mostly Spectrums, or it's Radio 86 RK machines, or it's those other 8080 based machines. That's generally 8080 based machines, Spectrum clones, or the Poisk, which is the 8080, the PCXD. They're generally the ones you come across. So, but yeah, hopefully you get a motherboard photo so you can see if the capacitors have been stripped. See what sort of work you're in for. Okay, that was it. Just wanted to go through that. Thought that might have been of some interest. Don't know. There are other places like Meshok is a good one. Meshok means bag, I think, in Russian. There's a lot of interesting machines. I've already done a video on Meshok. But with the way things are because of the war, certainly in Australia here we've got sanctions, so we can't send anything to Russia, nor can we receive anything from Russia. So, but there are like Ukrainian sites as well. But a lot of them, the sellers only sell, will only post within Ukraine. So eBay is probably your best bet because the sellers there at least will ship overseas. Yeah, there we go. So anyway, maybe that was interesting. I don't know. Maybe I rambled, but yeah, that's it. Bye for now.